Hey, good morning, everybody. What day is it? It is Thursday. Um, and I was listening to a master class. So my daughter goes to High Point University. If you don't know about this place, they really orient educating students for practical application of work in the world. So what they do is they bring in executives, a ton of them. Wozniak, CEO of Netflix, Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice. Anyways, they have an app you could download, and they have master classes in there from the C-suite. So there was one in there that came from the Dominoes CEO, who was an ex-Pepsi guy. And as an ex-Pepsi guy, you know that that's a tremendously good marketing organization. Everybody sits and waits for the Pepsi commercials, but they are really, really good at both in-store execution, brand building, and launching new brands that get market share. That's another story for another day. But this gentleman was talking about when he took over Dominoes. It's probably 10, 12 years ago now. It was failing. It had terrible quality. It was at the bottom of the rankings on pizza. It was actually ranked behind Chuck E. Cheese. And this guy left Pepsi to be chief marketing officer at Domino's. And he talked about the concept of tensions both with the brand, tensions with consumers, tensions with the environment that you operate in. And we could talk about that also on another day. But he did talk about one thing, was double-click marketing. And if you watched any of my videos, you'll notice what I've been trying to do is there's always pop-ups in the upper right or upper left where I'm trying to take customers, if they're looking at videos, onto things. Again, I'm not real good at it yet, but I'm trying to take customers on a actual journey, not a theoretical journey. So by the way, I'm sitting in a parking lot. So if I'm looking around, it's because I'm doing this outside my barber, right? New cut. But he used an analogy of double click. So anybody know what this is? And we call these things nesting dolls. You'll probably know them better by this, right? So this is the generic version, and this is the actual Russian version. And pretty much everybody, I believe, who's looking at this know that when you see one of these, there's doll after doll after doll, right? So by the way, you got to be careful when you open these things up, because they can fall apart really, really quick. So you open up one, knowing what's going to be on the inside is just a duplicate, right? And then you open up another, and then you open up another, and you open up another, until you get to, oh, there's actually another one after that. Good Lord, I hadn't even opened these up that far. And then you open up another, and there's a teeny weeny one in there. Anyways, I'm going to put that back on top. It's the same experience with this one, right? But this is bland. So two things occurred to me when he gave the analogy of double-click marketing using the Mastroika or the nesting doll. One was that when you looked at the colored nesting doll, you knew what happened after. This has hit, and if you go look up the story of the nesting doll, such an iconic place in children's and people's minds that you know what the journey is, yet you go on the journey anyways. There's no mystery about the outcome. You know there's going to be one after another of essentially the same thing. His point in the call was that when you capture a customer is so valuable that you want your brand to make an impression that is known, that sticks, just like the colored versus the not colored. But secondly, that they instinctively go to the next step. That they want to go down a journey all the way to the end and continue because the brand has made such an impression. He tied that into linking your marketing with tensions. So as I think about business brokerage, what is the tensions of buyers and sellers? For a buyer, they're wanting to replace income. They're worried about the quality. There's the fear factor that I've talked about before And how do you as a marketer, because you are one, address the fear? How do you overcome the fear? How do you position yourself as a broker, which is nothing more than a salesman in the parlance of the original, what was the one with Charlie Sheen, Wall Street, where Martin Sheen told him broker's just a fancy name for a salesman, and all the negative perceptions that go with that. How do you take the customer on a journey where they get deeper and deeper and deeper until they pull the trigger? How do you get them to trust and overcome that tension that exists of fear and doubt and distrust that is in our industry? Again, another topic for another day. And at the same time, create a journey that is so impactful that they come back. And as I thought about that component of it, I thought about the advisory change. We used to be Transworld Business Brokers before the franchise started. And Ray and Andy, in their wisdom, decided to shift the name to Transworld Business Advisors because of the subtle trust that that word imbues. Broker is construed as sales, and because of the tension that exists associated with stockbrokers. I don't know if that was in their mind or not, but advisor implies providing value. And I think as you do your marketing, you need to do that. And you also have to make a concerted effort to recognize the value of every consumer, whether they're a buyer or a seller, or frankly, every contact, so that you take them on a journey that makes them come back and not view you with distrust, but view you with trust and respect, so that they become advocates for you and your brand. If I go back and look at my best customers, particularly my repeat customers, I no longer have tensions in terms of trust and the question of value proposition of what I'm selling. So when you think about any of the personal marketing that you do, and every contact that you get, you need to impress upon them in a variety of manners, and we can go on and talk about that later in follow-on videos, a level of trust that takes them on a journey so they want to learn more about either the company that you're on or the business that you're on. So for example, imagine if they see one of your links on YouTube, a video about buying a business. Take one of our, hey, you want to buy a business or you want to sell a business, right? And you go in, create a link about, hey, I want to sell a lawn business, or hey, I want to sell a restaurant, or hey, I want to sell a trucking company. And you have all those resources already preset so that the customer, hey, we learned about Transworld, and then, oh, I want to learn more, click here. And it takes them to a menu that says, hey, this is how these are the key indicators to value lawn care. Here's the key indicators to value a gym. Here's the key indicators to value auto parts. Here's the key indicators to and these are all videos. And then they go to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So that eventually they pick up the call and call you. So I have not worked all this out yet, but I do know it works. And if you go back and look at that video, and I can send you the link, but better yet, just download the app from HPU and go find the CEO of Dominoes in the C-suite section, and listen to his 50-minute class. He does a good example of the ad campaign and how, and we're seeing some of the ads today that were a consequence of that ad campaign. And he also layers it with what the net effect in sales and stock price were to Dominoes compared to when he took over, and it was $2 a share. I think it's now like $500 a share. But that's my thoughts on marketing. I thought it valuable enough to do this 10-minute video. Again, 321-287-0349, or give me a call, Mike, or email me at mike@tworld.com. Have a good one.